The main functionality of the Android application that I've created is a database which allows the user to store module information and assignment information, and also allows them to delete or update any records that they've entered. The information in the database is returned using tables. The initial list at the front of the application has three columns in 2 rows, so we can format the top row and feed the information from the database into the other text views there. The module list class extends the activity class, and then we can use the onCreate methods within the activity class. We can set this up to the activity that we've shown before. We've also called a setup menu, which sets up all the objects from that activity we've shown and links them up to this Java file for the module list class, so we can use them. The part of the code I'm going to talk about is the populating the list of modules within that activity, and to do that we need to create an instance of the database, and we've called that list of modules, which is a descriptive name of what the object is going to be about for ease of use. We've then called a method from that class, the database class, called open, which I won't show, but it basically allows us to query the database, and then it then closes it to make sure there's no active connections remaining. So we're going to create strings called module list IDs, module list numbers, and module list names, and these are going to be fed into the text views using a setText method, and that's going to be done when this setup menu method's called onCreate, so it will appear with the list of modules straight away. So we've declared a string called module list IDs, and it uses the methods within the database instance called get module IDs. The other ones will call get module numbers and get module names. So they're the methods that are being used from the database class, and they're going to be fed into these strings and then passed into the text views. Here are the database methods. Create a string array with the column in it for module ID. We've declared a cursor, which will query, and we can then query the database table, the module table, using the column selection. The string is set to null at the moment and will be populated in a for loop. We've declared an integer called imodID, which will get the column index of the query, and then as long as the cursor first it moves to the first one, as long as it's not after the last one, it will move to the next, and it will populate the result with itself, so it keeps on adding to the list, as well as getting the string from the column index, which will be the column ID, and this will create a new line that returns a result, and then we'll then assign that value to this string, which will get passed through to the text view. That is the same for the module numbers and the module name. Here is an example of that. We'll click on module list. Here's one I created earlier, which has been in the database: ID, module number, and module name.